Hey, what's up? This video is going to be previewing Troy at Nebraska on this Saturday, September 15th, so let's get into it. Okay, so let's just dive into it here. The head coach for Troy is Neil Brown. He's a young coach. He's like 38. He's done a good job at Troy. He's a pretty good coach. That's why I gave them a B- for coaching. He's a guy who's proven that he can get Troy to play above their talent level. They did beat LSU last year. They played Boise State week 1 of this season and lost 56-20. So, 36 points against a team with comparable talent to Nebraska, maybe a little bit better in Boise State. But yeah, so Neil Brown, 26-14 as a coach, pretty solid job there at Troy. And on the Nebraska side, obviously, is Scott Frost with a 19-8 record overall and one of the hottest young and up-and-coming coaches in college football. So that kind of covers coaching. As far as the spread, Troy is getting about 10.5 points when I looked. It's kind of been changing. I think it's been anywhere from 8 to 12, depending on what day and what site you look at. But 10.5 seems to be kind of where it's settling. So let's kind of go into the stat ranks here. Average recruiting rank of 108.2 for Troy for 25.6 for Nebraska. Big advantage in the talent department for Nebraska. And when you factor in coaching and all that, Nebraska's talent did look good last week against Colorado. We all know the story. Nebraska beat themselves with all the turnovers and penalties and drops and Adrian Martinez getting hurt. So I do think the talent on the field should vastly favor Nebraska in this game. As far as yards per rush, also pretty significantly favors Nebraska at 6.1 to 2.8. Opponent yards per rush also significantly favors Nebraska at 1.3 to 3.8. Yards per pass, a slight favorite for Nebraska at 8.1 to 7.5. Opponent's yard per pass, we have Nebraska coming in at a decent, not great mark of 7.0. Troy has struggled against the pass with that 10.9 average. Quarterback play is a tough one for me to assess and rank. For Troy, they've got a junior 2-star quarterback from Alabama who only had one other scholarship offer, and it was from another small school. So I don't expect Troy to be super amazing at the quarterback spot. I gave them a C+ because he is a junior, so I expect him to be able to run the offense decently well. I don't know what to give Nebraska at the quarterback spot for the grade here, because it would be a B or a B+. But I don't know what we're going to get on Saturday at Nebraska's quarterback position. If Adrian Martinez is like 90% and unhindered, I would give them a B or a B+. He is a true freshman, so I can't really give them an A yet. But I had to give a B- because I don't know exactly what we're going to get at that position. It could be the backup bunch playing for Nebraska on Saturday. As far as coaching ranks, I do think Troy has a good coach for them in Neil Brown, so I gave it a B-. I don't think he's, one of the most amazing coaches in college football, but, I don't think he's a bad coach by any means, so B- there. For Nebraska, this would be an A- or an A, but last week proved that Nebraska still has a lot of things they need to clean up, so I had to bump it down to a B+. I do believe in Scott Frost and the coaching staff at Nebraska. They achieved, obviously, amazing things at UCF, but I'm knocking it down to a B+ for coaching this week. But still, when we kind of look overall, encompassing everything, we've got pretty significant advantages for Nebraska across the board. Now, if you're asking, who do I bet on in this game? This is another, I know I said this last week, so I don't want to say it again, but this is a game I wouldn't really want to touch. There's too many variables. I don't know who's going to be playing quarterback for Nebraska. I also don't know if that quarterback's going to be hurt or not. I just don't have that information. On paper, based on the research I've done, I would say Nebraska should be favored by like 16.5 in this game. And they're not. So I guess based off of that, I would say the proper bet is Nebraska. If you asked me to predict a score, I would say 41-24 Nebraska, which would have them covering the spread. So again, a game I wouldn't be excited about betting on, and I wouldn't recommend betting on. But if you're asking me for my pick, it is Nebraska to cover the spread and win 41-24. So, yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.